Does the weight of decades feel heavier on your soul than your shoulders? You're not alone in this sacred passage we call aging. Every sunrise brings whispers of what was, every sunset echoes with what might never be again. But today, together, we'll explore 7 profound teachings that can transform your later years from a season of loss into a garden of unprecedented wisdom and peace. In the monastery where I spent many seasons, I observed that our eldest brothers possessed something remarkable, not despite their age, but because of how they had learned to hold it lightly. They had discovered what the Buddha himself taught, that true liberation comes not from accumulating more, but from the graceful art of letting go. Picture your hands right now. Imagine them clenched tightly around everything you've ever been, every role you've ever played, every dream you've ever cherished. Feel that tension. Now what if I told you that opening those hands, one finger at a time, could reveal treasures you never knew existed? The first teaching whispers of releasing your former self-image. You were the achiever, the provider, the one everyone turned to. But clinging to these identities is like trying to force last year's leaves to remain green on winter branches. I once watched a successful businessman visit our monastery, his eyes hollow with the grief of retirement. "Who am I if I'm not the CEO?" he asked. The answer bloomed only when he stopped grasping at ghosts of his former glory. Your essence was never your title, never your role. Beneath every mask you've worn lives something timeless and brilliant, your true nature, patient as mountains, flowing as rivers. Begin this practice. Each morning, instead of reciting what you once were, breathe and ask, "What am I becoming?" Feel how this simple shift opens spaces in your chest you forgot existed. Yet something deeper calls for release, and this leads us to the second teaching. The illusion of control must be surrendered, like autumn leaves surrendering to wind. For decades you orchestrated, managed, directed the symphony of life around you. Now your children make their own decisions. Your body writes its own schedule. The world spins without waiting for your permission. This isn't failure, it's freedom disguised as loss. In our meditation hall, there's an old prayer wheel that spins only when the wind moves it. Fight the wind, and it breaks. Flow with it, and it creates the most beautiful prayers. Your resistance to life's natural rhythms is the source of your suffering, not the circumstances themselves. Today, practice this. When something feels beyond your control, place your hand on your heart and whisper, "This too is part of the dance." Notice how your shoulders drop when you stop pushing against the river of existence. But there's another weight pressing against your spirit, demanding attention. The burden of past regrets grows heavier with each passing year, doesn't it? Every what if and if only becomes a stone in the backpack of your soul. I've sat with countless elders whose eyes carried decades of self-judgment, their present moment poisoned by ancient mistakes. But here's what the Buddha understood. Regret is just memory dressed up as punishment. Those choices you made, the harsh words, the missed opportunities, the times you chose fear over love, they were made by someone who knew only what they knew then. That person did their best with the consciousness they possessed in that moment. Forgiveness isn't about declaring your past actions right or wrong, it's about releasing your present self from the prison of yesterday's limitations. Try this gentle practice. Each evening place your hands on your heart and say, "I forgive the person who made those choices with the wisdom they had then." Feel how this creates space for who you're becoming now. And speaking of who you're becoming, the fourth teaching emerges like dawn breaking. Your physical body is changing, and the grief of this transformation can eclipse the gifts it brings. Slower steps, dimmer eyes, hands that shake where once they were steady. These changes whisper not of ending, but of a different kind of beginning. In the monastery gardens, I learned that the oldest trees, though they grow more slowly, sink their roots deepest and weather storms that topple younger giants. Your aging body is teaching you what the Buddha called the middle way, finding balance not in the extremes of youth's recklessness or age's resignation, but in the wisdom of moving mindfully through each moment. Your limitations aren't punishments, they're invitations to discover strengths you never needed before. When your body moves slowly, your spirit learns patience. When your energy requires careful tending, you discover what truly deserves your precious life force. Begin to see each physical change as a teacher, not an enemy. Ask your body what it needs today, not what it should still be able to do. Yet there's something even more challenging to release, and this brings us to the fifth teaching. The need to be needed can become the heaviest chain of all. Your children once hung on your every word. Your workplace couldn't function without you. Your community looked to you for answers. Now they've learned to fly with their own wings, and the silence where your indispensability once lived can feel like death itself. But this is where the deepest spiritual transformation awaits. Like a mother bird who must eventually empty her nest to fulfill her purpose, your greatest gift to those you love is teaching them they can thrive without your constant intervention. This doesn't diminish your worth, it completes it. Your new role isn't to be needed, but to be a source of unconditional love and wisdom, available when sought, powerful when present, peaceful when alone. Practice releasing your grip on others' journeys. Each time you feel the urge to fix, guide, or rescue someone capable of their own decisions, pause and send them loving kindness instead. Trust their path as sacred as your own. This naturally flows into our sixth teaching, perhaps the most tender of all. The attachment to specific outcomes for your loved ones must dissolve like morning mist. You've carried dreams for your children, hopes for your grandchildren, visions of how their lives should unfold. These dreams, born from love, can become sources of suffering when reality takes different paths. Your daughter chooses a career you don't understand. Your grandchild struggles in ways you wish you could prevent. Your legacy looks nothing like the picture you painted in your heart. But here's the profound truth the Buddha revealed. Your love is purest when it wants nothing in return, when it supports without controlling, when it blesses without conditions. The most powerful gift you can give, those you cherish, is your complete acceptance of their journey, even when it leads them through valleys. You would spare them. Each morning, silently bless each person you love with these words: "May you find your own way to happiness. May you learn what you need to learn. May you be free to become who you truly are." Feel how this transforms worry into wonder, anxiety into appreciation. And finally, the seventh teaching calls us to the deepest release of all. The fear of death itself must be transformed from an enemy into a teacher. This fear colors every other attachment, makes every loss feel like a rehearsal for the ultimate ending. But death is not the opposite of life, it's the completion of it, like the final note that gives meaning to an entire symphony. In our monastery, we practice what's called death contemplation, not to become morbid, but to become vibrantly alive. When you truly accept that your time here is temporary, every moment becomes precious, every interaction sacred, every breath a gift. Your mortality isn't a flaw in the design, it's what makes your existence meaningful. Those you love will carry forward the kindness you showed, the wisdom you shared, the love you gave freely. Your influence ripples forward in ways you'll never fully know. Instead of fearing the unknown, begin to approach it with curiosity, like a traveler about to discover a new land. These 7 releases of identity, control, regret, physical perfection, being needed, outcomes for others, and death itself are not losses but liberations. Each one you release creates more space for what truly matters: love, presence, wisdom, peace. Your old age is not life's epilogue, but its deepest chapter, where everything you've learned can finally serve its highest purpose. As our time together draws to a close, carry this truth with you. Every season of life has its unique gifts. Your gift now is the capacity to love without attachment, to guide without controlling, to exist without needing to prove your worth. This is the ultimate freedom, to be fully present in whatever time remains, knowing that your value was never in what you could do, but in the beautiful fact that you exist at all. If these teachings have touched something within you, I invite you to like this video and share it with someone who might need to hear these words. Subscribe to continue this journey of awakening together, And let me know in the comments which of these 7 releases feels most challenging for you right now.